A hack is defined as an unconventional way or workaround to accomplish a task. So let me start by showing you my favorite hacks for making vegan cakes, cupcakes, and donuts. Let's get to it. You will need a can of chickpeas and your favorite box cake along with a good blender. The recipe calls for 1 cup water, so we'll start by putting that in the blender. Next, you will replace the eggs and the oil with a can of rinsed and drained chickpeas. Add it to your blender, and then we will blend that up into a paste. Then you'll add your cake mix to a bowl. You can also do all of this in the blender if you don't want to dirty a bowl. We'll dump it out and add the chickpea mixture, and we'll mix everything together. Make sure I get all of that chickpea mixture so it's nice and moist. So that's mixed all the way through now. Now let's spray the pans. You have to spray the pans. There's no way around it. I mean, you can probably use parchment paper, but you gotta do something or else they're gonna stick because there's no oil in these cakes. Let's dump it out. Spread it out. And we'll do the same over here. All right, now you will just bake these according to the directions on your package. So I had a friend stop by right as I was filming and stayed and chatted for a little bit. So usually that mixture is a lot more liquidy, but as it sat, it thickened. But just a heads up, it won't be as thick as that mixture was. Now for our cupcakes and our donuts, we're going to use 2 packages and we'll still use chickpeas. I find that chickpeas are a little bit thicker and more dense, and they're better than other beans in these box cake recipes. So let's add 2 cans of chickpeas to our blender and then 2 cups of water. And then we'll blend that. Let's pour our cake mix into the bowl. You will want to double check and make sure the cake mix you choose is vegan. They don't have any milk or anything hidden there. And then let's add that chickpea mixture of the water and the chickpeas. We use that instead of oil and eggs. You will need all of this liquid, so make sure you get all of it out. Now, if you would rather not use a cake mix to make a vegan cake, I do have another video where I show you how to make a whole food plant-based chocolate cake. It is also delicious. It's just more time intensive. Today is all about hacks and making this easy. Now, even though this is a chocolate cake, you may be tempted to use black beans instead of chickpeas. But again, I prefer chickpeas for cakes. It just gives me the texture that I like. Sometimes black beans offer a different texture, can be a little bit more runny, and the cake can fall apart a little more easily, where with chickpeas, it tends to stay together a little better. Whew, my arm is tired. I guess another hack would be to use a mixer. In order to make donuts, you will need to buy these little donut trays. I just got them off of Amazon. You definitely need to spray them or else they're gonna stick and they're not gonna come out. And these little trays are so cool. And then it's a labor of love, but you just simply fill in these little donut holes with the batter. And it just takes a little bit of time. Make sure not to overfill. Now we'll put these on a pan and then we'll put them in the oven. And perfect timing because the white cake is now done. I'm gonna show you how beautiful this is. It looks so good. We'll let the white cake cool down and we still have some more cake mix for some cupcakes. We'll put those together. Found this thing, which is perfect for cupcakes. Just trying to make these as even as possible. All right, put these in the oven. The donuts and the cupcakes are now done. Let's pull them out of the oven. Okay, look at these awesome donuts. Oh my gosh, amazing. Perfect, perfect cupcakes. Look at that. We'll let them cool off. Now that the cakes, cupcakes, and donuts are baking or already cooked, let's talk about frosting. There are so many different frosting options, and no, it does not require butter, but you need something else to make it thick. So here are my options. Let's start by making the classic tofu frosting with tofu and melted chocolate chips. For dairy-free chocolate chips, this is my favorite brand, or pretty much the only brand that's out there. Add that whole bag and melt it. We'll melt it for a minute first and then check on it every 30 seconds. Put it in the microwave for 1 minute and then we'll add 30 seconds as needed. I'm also gonna take my tofu out of the packaging and put this in the microwave for 30 seconds. Take the chocolate chips out, mix these together, 30 seconds on the tofu. Because the chocolate chips are gonna be nice and melted, I don't want the cold tofu to freeze them up again. So we need the tofu warm. About 15 more seconds and then this should be done. Chocolate is done, tofu is warm. We'll add the warm tofu to the blender and the melted chocolate chips. All right, we'll blend those together. I used firm tofu, so you really need to blend this very well. It's nice to have a Vitamix. Look at that. It is nice and creamy, no tofu texture at all. Yum. Now you want to taste this. Now to me, it's delicious. If you want it to be sweeter for your cake, like more of a really sweet frosting, you can add some powdered sugar to this as well. I might add a couple tablespoons of powdered sugar just to make it a little bit sweeter for the cake. But honestly, I could eat this like pudding every day. All right, let's put this in a bowl to use on those cupcakes later. Now, when it comes to using tofu for frosting, you can actually just do tofu and powdered sugar and maybe a little bit of vanilla. Do not add any plant milk, and that frosting is going to be a lot more runny. The chocolate chips makes it hold together more like a typical frosting would. My next frosting hack is to use an avocado. You can make this chocolate frosting and cover up the color, or just like me, we can keep it green. Okay, so I'm gonna open 2 avocados. These avocados are actually perfect and not overly ripe, but that means they're harder to smash, so I'm gonna use my blender. Now that the 2 avocados are in the blender, we'll add about a teaspoon of vanilla. Perfect, and let's start to blend that up. It's okay if it's chunky because we're gonna add sugar next. Next, we'll add the powdered sugar. So just like your typical recipe that you would use butter in the past, we're just using an avocado in place of that butter. So you can pretty much follow your regular recipe. So that's about a cup, and I'm gonna add another cup. And then we'll add 1 more cup and start to blend it up. That's 2 avocados, 3 cups of powdered sugar. Okay, let's blend that up. Looks awesome, tastes yummy too. Next, you'll do a taste test. I mean, it tastes amazing because it tastes like sugar. I'm actually going to add another cup of powdered sugar. I just want it to be a little thicker, and it's not too sweet yet, and that should thicken everything up a little more. Perfect, that's a lot thicker. Look at this. It is awesome. Hey, real quick, make sure to check out the free 1-week meal guide of vegan, whole food, plant-based recipes that are delicious. This avocado frosting is going to go brown unless we put in the juice of a lemon, so do not skip this part. Let's go ahead and put it in. Yum. All right, let's put it in a bowl. Now online, you'll see lots of variations of avocado frosting. And the cool thing is avocados can be swapped out for butter at a 1-to-1 ratio. I put in less powdered sugar in this recipe than what most recipes call for. Some recipes will call for up to 3 to 3.5 cups of powdered sugar for 1 avocado. This recipe was just 2 cups of powdered sugar for each avocado. So if you want it thicker, if you want it sweeter, then you can add more powdered sugar. And if you're worried about it browning, or if it looks like it's browning in any way, you can add a little bit more lemon juice. Make sure you're not using lemon juice from a bottle, that it needs to be freshly squeezed lemon juice if possible. You can also add chocolate cocoa powder if you want it to be chocolatey. There's so many options here. The last and most simple frosting we're going to make is just powdered sugar and milk. Your favorite type of plant milk, any plant milk works, and you just add a tiny bit at a time and mix that in. It's the most simple, sweet, delicious frosting you'll ever make. It's just this sweet sugar glaze. And we can dip our donuts in this. It's a simple frosting hack. I caught little sticky fingers tasting the frosting. Guys, hey, later. Okay, so let's put the cake together. Because we made sure to grease the cake, it's perfect. It is all set up. We're gonna take this chocolate frosting and put it in between. It's kind of been sitting out for a while, so it's a little thick. Of course, you can use this same cake recipe with any of your favorite frostings. You can buy store-bought frosting, but I wanted to give you all the options. All right, let's put the top on and let's frost it with our green frosting on top. Again, if you don't like the color green, you can always use food coloring, but avocados are just the perfect substitute for butter when it comes to frosting. It's healthier for you than any vegan butter out there. Awesome. Let's add some sprinkles. Now it looks like an Easter cake. Perfect. Next, let's frost the donuts. Now, I want to show you how amazing these look. If the pan was greased really well, they just pop right out. Look at that. It's so awesome. And this is where I love chickpeas in this recipe. It works so much better than black beans. I've done it, I've tried it. Chickpeas really are the best, especially to maintain that shape to be able to make a donut. Now, frosting these can be super, super simple. All you need to do is take that donut, dip it upside down, move it around, make sure every little bit has some. There you go, that easy. Now for some, we can do the glaze. I'm gonna use, since I have the other frosting, we'll do some with some green frosting, and we can do others with more of the chocolate frosting too. all of the different kinds. I had to sneak away to try one. These are awesome donuts. They're really good. You would never know that they are made with beans. And the avocado frosting, and all of it is delicious. We have more to make. I still gotta frost the cupcakes. If the chocolate frosting gets too hard, you can just put it in the microwave again to soften it up, which I'm gonna do before I frost the cupcakes. And it is nice and soft again. All right, let's frost these cupcakes. All right, girls, you wanna help me frost cupcakes?
Please.
I got two little helpers here. Eating the frosting or frosting the cupcakes? All right, let's do it. What do you think? The best, huh? So good. These are awesome. We've made cupcakes, we've made cakes, we've made donuts. Now what's next? Brownies. For the brownies, you will need a box of your favorite brownie mix and a can of black beans. For the recipe, instead of using eggs or oil, you will use our beans. But these 3 tablespoons of water you're going to completely ignore because we need more water than that. So you'll look at how much vegetable oil it calls for. So this is a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. So instead of using that much of oil, you'll use that much of water instead, and your can of beans. Let's put it together. So I rinsed and drained my beans, add them to the blender, and then it's a 1/2 cup of water. That is it. So let's mix that. You'll want to mix it really well. We'll add the brownie mix to a bowl, and then that black bean mixture. I also feel like the black beans have a stronger taste, which brownies hide really well, but the cake doesn't hide as well. Which is why I like black beans for brownies, chickpeas for cakes. Okay, let's mix that together. If you feel like it's not the right texture, you can add a little bit more water, but I think this actually is just fine. This is perfect, look at that. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Look how perfect that is. Then you will place it in a pan, make sure to spray the pan down, and then add the brownie mixture and spread it around. Again, the pan was greased. You can also use parchment paper instead. Make it nice and even, and then we'll add it to the oven. You will bake as directed on the package. For me, that's gonna be at 350 for about 25 minutes. All right, brownies are done. They look awesome. All right, since I had a leftover chocolate frosting, I'm going to place this chocolate frosting on top of the brownies just because I had it and I need to use it up, but it's not necessary for these brownies to still be delicious. I did microwave the frosting so it was easier to spread, and then I'll place the brownies in the freezer just to harden it up before we cut everything. Everyone's excited. They're all patiently waiting to have the cupcakes and the treats. All right, I put them in the freezer for a second just so that the frosting is a little more hard. Let's go ahead and cut these up. Look how delicious and thick and yummy. You could have also put chocolate chips into the batter to make it a little more gooey, but with the frosting on top, I think we're good. I promise you'll have some donuts and cake. Everyone wants to eat. Yummy brownies. So we have our cupcakes, our brownies, our delicious cake, and our donuts. All made with beans. How many times have they asked if they could eat this? They've literally been staring at this for like hours.
It's done, the donuts are done.
Everything's done. All right, you guys can have some.
Yeah!
Dancing?
Best day ever!
Yeah, try it. Look at that deliciousness. My kids just say, this is the best day ever of my life. This white cake is awesome. So good. If you liked these vegan baking hacks, I know you will absolutely love my other vegan hack videos where you can learn some easy, convenient swaps to make vegan cooking super easy and delicious.